Here at the edge of the world, Greenland finds itself at the center of a new geopolitical struggle. Conflict is threatening to return to these Arctic waters for the first time since the Second World War. And years ago, it was the United States that used this island territory to launch attacks against the Nazis. But now, if you ask Greenlanders, it's the US that poses the greatest threat to their way of life. 20,000 people live peacefully in its capital, Nuuk. The entire island, made up of a mixture of majority Greenlandic Inuit as well as Danes, is home to just over 50,000 people, barely half the capacity of the MCG. Since it was settled nearly 5,000 years ago, Greenlanders have almost exclusively used their waters to fish and welcome visitors to the world's largest island. But now locals, whose families stretch back generations, look over the horizon with a sense of foreboding.
We need Greenland, very importantly, for international security. We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can't.
What is their fear if America starts exerting more power?
We are very worried in Greenland, and we are very afraid, and we feel that we are standing alone. And I think the Danish government and other countries should show their support much more than they do now, because the American can just take us if they want. You know, it's the talk of the town. Everybody's talking about it, and we are very worried because we are non-violent people. We are very, how can you say, quiet people, and we are afraid that we will lose the benefits of the government of Denmark, because we have free doctors, free medicine, free school education.
America's Vice President TJD Vance touched down at the U.S. space base here in March. The only people who welcomed the Vice President to Greenland were the military personnel under his command.
USA! 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 USA!
The tour seen as a provocation by its people, as well as Denmark, who held the largest protest in the territory's history, unconvinced by the argument put forward by America's Vice President.
We need Greenland, and the world needs us to have Greenland, including Denmark. Denmark has to have us have Greenland.
We decided to politely tell them that we were not interested in her visit. We can't accept what they are, especially what Trump is saying now, and his goal to take over Greenland.
Eventually, J.D. Vance was limited to touring the space base away from the towns he says are under threat from China and Russia. Now, President Trump says he wants to take control of Greenland for security reasons, and he's refused to rule out using force. Some important background to that is that the US and Russia are vying for military dominance in the Arctic, and climate change is melting the ice and making lucrative mineral reserves more accessible here in Greenland. Greenlanders, there are about 57,000, are making clear they don't want to be a part of the United States. The presidents refused to rule out using force, leaving many here in Greenland angry and anxious. But for millennia, life in the tundra has always been difficult, a point of pride for its citizens who've maintained a thriving culture.